Welcome to a Wednesday. I'm Lynn Cannon. We will get to the aftermath of Beta in a moment. But first, Reka, we've been talking and waiting for months about a grand jury's decision in the Breonna Taylor case.
Yeah, Kentucky's Attorney General announced today a grand jury decided not to indict 3 officers for the death of Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed while she slept in her home. But one of the men, a former officer who was fired by the department weeks after that shooting, is charged for what happened that night. Marcelina Benito explains.
Around the world should be safe.
In Louisville, Kentucky, anger, hurt, and tears after a grand jury indicted former officer Brett Hankison with 3 counts of wanton endangerment and the police raid that led to Breonna Taylor's death. 2 other officers on scene that day will not face any charges. The news outraged protesters in Louisville and around the country. Officer Hankison's charges are for shooting into neighboring apartments, not directly related to Taylor's death. Taylor, an EMT, was shot back in March by Louisville police while they executed a no-knock warrant at her apartment during a narcotics investigation. Taylor's boyfriend did open fire at police, thinking they were intruders. That's when 3 officers opened fire. No drugs were ever found in the home. Crowds are already gathering at a memorial site in Louisville. The family's attorney called the decision outrageous and offensive. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron says they followed the law.
According to Kentucky law, the use of force by Mattingly and Cosgrove was justified to protect themselves. This justification bars us from pursuing criminal charges in Miss Breonna Taylor's death.
Cameron does plan to prove the charges against Officer Hankison at trial. Hankison could face up to 5 years behind bars per count. Louisville will have a curfew in place at 9 p.m. tonight as officials hope to keep the city calm. Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
Right after the announcement, protesters did take to the streets, and within the last hour, a line of police moved in and began detaining people. A reporter there says the protesters filled an entire city block, but when police moved in, they dispersed. About 2 hours before all of this, people appeared to gather peacefully, and the Attorney General had this message for the city.
Our reaction to the truth today says what kind of society we want to be. Do we really want the truth, or do we want a truth that fits our narrative? Do we want the facts, or are we content to blindly accept our own version of events? We as a community must make this decision.
He went on to say he spoke with the Louisville mayor and Kentucky governor, urging them to do what is necessary to maintain law and order. There is a countywide curfew, as Marcelino mentioned, starting at 9 tonight. The story still unfolding, and our media partners have reporters on the scene. You can watch live streams and read through the detailed charges with the free KHOU 11 News mobile app.